using a Mac Mini for playback? This question comes to us from Paul in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati. In a recent video, you discussed rethinking stereo. Great video. Thanks. You referenced your awesome PS Audio stack, and I noticed you had a Mac Mini in the rack. How are you using it in your system? What software are you using? Have you modified the Mac Mini for your application? And are you using the USB output or the Toslink optical? I too am using a Mac Mini in my setup, and I want to make sure I'm getting the best out of it. Well, Paul, great name. There, if you can see, below the DirectStream DAC is a Mac Mini. You can see it sitting there on its little power base. Isn't it cute? Those are just, the Mac Minis are just, I think, the best value in computers today. Now, full disclosure, I'm an Apple guy, right? I mean, I don't like Windows. I've had to learn it again and adjust to it because our system for measuring measuring speakers, by necessity, there are several programs in there that are Windows only, and so I had to learn it again. And I have to say, the newer, I think, gosh, I don't even know where Windows are today, the 10 or something, I don't know. Whatever it is, they're very Mac-like. So finally, Windows has come up to almost being as good as an Apple in terms of its visuals and its ease of use. They never quite got there, but they're a hell of a lot closer, and you can just see that, you know, they figured it out, you know, that they could also make it fun and easy for people like Apple does. In any case, I don't want to start a damn war here with all the, you know, God help us, we start talking politics. It's almost as bad. So that's a Mac Mini, and I think this is the older one. They just came out with new ones that are now more expensive. I think they're like $800 now, and I suppose they've got some new whiz-bang processor and who knows what. But that's back when these were $500. You could literally go down and buy one for $500. Now, it is completely stock. I've tried it. I've put different power supplies in. We've used bases. I've never found any big advantage to anything other than more RAM. So when I think I must have paid a little bit more than that. I got the most RAM that I could in that, and that does seem to make a little bit of difference. So the Mac Mini that you get should be with as much RAM as possible. Other than that, I only use USB. The Toslink output on that sucks. You do not use the Toslink output. I don't care what you have. If it's a Windows or a Mac, don't do that. Toslink is just, you can't play high resolution audio beyond 96 kilohertz. Anyway, just don't do it. Use USB. And then most DACs are USB enabled, like our DirectStream or any of the DACs that we make, and most DACs out there. So on the Mac Mini, I go between two different programs depending on what I'm doing. Currently, for years I went with BitPerfect because BitPerfect was my all-time favorite, and still today, from a sonic standpoint, still is. BitPerfect, I think it's $10, and it is really great. And let's talk about why would we want a program on there. So I use Audirvana now, and I'll tell you why. I've switched from BitPerfect to Audirvana, not because I like Audirvana's sound better. They're fairly close, but why do we need a program at all? So Mac and Windows basically want to take over the audio, and they do. So if I play something through the Mac Mini and I don't have a special program on there, that sound, regardless of what I'm playing, is going to be resampled, reshuffled, and upsampled, downsampled to a steady output. So I think stock is probably CD quality, 44.1, 16 kilohertz. And it doesn't matter what I play. No, if I play 96 kilohertz, 192 kilohertz, everything comes out at whatever I set it up on the audio MIDI or in your sound area. It just runs it through this and just mucks up the sound. You don't want to do that. These programs, BitPerfect, which is my favorite, from just grabbing hold of the signal and getting you the best sound out of it. And it's simple, and then you'll use iTunes to control it, which is where the problem comes. So iTunes as a music management program kind of sucks. I really don't like it. And it doesn't support streaming services that I like. So currently, I stream a lot on a program called Qobuz. And Qobuz is a French company, and they have high-resolution streaming services. I think it's 20 bucks a month. A great library. A lot of people like Tidal. I prefer Qobuz. And it's a great service. I mean, I just take my iPad and I play, I've got my playlist, I play anything I want, and it sounds terrific. So BitPerfect doesn't help so much with that. And Audirvana does. Audirvana is, I think it's 35 bucks or something. And it too sounds great, and it makes it really easy. And I use their interface and their Audirvana remote, something or other, to control everything. And I do a lot of streaming. It also allows me to, I have a lot of stuff stored on there. I have a half a terabyte of solid state memory on there. So that's all I do. I make sure I have a right program, either BitPerfect or Audirvana, which currently I'm using Audirvana. And it sounds terrific. And I use USB, and I prefer the Curious cables. Curious cable is not that expensive. It's a USB cable, and it sounds excellent. Really, really good. So that's my whole setup. That and a good DAC. Oh, and one other thing. Because I use it headless, you'll notice there's no video screen, there's no mouse, there's no keyboard. I control the Mac Mini when I need to, and rarely do I need to address it or do anything. But if I need to reboot it or something, I use a program called Screens. And Screens is a Mac program that it's like a remote desktop. It allows you to control and see the desktop on there and do whatever you need to do. But generally, I just use Audirvana, and I stream Qobuz, and I am happier than a clam. Hope that helps. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.